out. Mania, Mark, out. Mania, Mark, out. Mania, Mark, out. Mania, it's Saturday morning. Everyone's excited. We've got so much to talk about on Mark Out Mania. KAIJU Queen is here. Top 5 Godzilla movies and Tag Team March Madness on Mark Out Mania. Mark Out Mania. How the first round goes. Oops. The tag teams will soon know, along with our Fave Godzilla films, cause Saturday morning, time for us to mark out. Hope you're all ready for the Mark Out Mania. Mark Out Mania. Mark Out Mania. Mark Out Mania. Mark Out Mania.
Woo!
Yeah, good job, good job.
Yeah.
Man, you could have played Blitzkrieg Bop last night.
I know, right?
Wait. Before we get to that, welcome everyone to the Mark Out Mania, and welcome back for the third time now. It's the KAIJU Queen. The KAIJU Queen is here. Heather, welcome to the Mark Out Mania.
Hello.
The KAIJU Queen and the Hizzy. How you doing, Heather?
I'm doing good. Thanks, guys.
Turbo Cat, lover of dogs, queen of the kaiju.
Yes,
We're
man.
glad to have you here.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you for hanging out with us today.
Thank you for being for the wonderful art this week, featuring all of us as the retarded heads of King Ghidorah, and Heather nestled upon Godzilla's head, surrounded by cute and cuddly little monsters.
Yeah, pretty much.
I just want to point out that Zeus is Ghidorah's left head.
I know, I'm the retarded head. I'm the AEW women's head of
Holy shit.
Speaking of holy shit, how about that concert last night by Pedro? Yeah.
That's right. What did you say it was like, Heather?
It was like an episode of This American Life. Everybody dies.
we should have had fucking Lance Hoyt on last night because everybody died.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Katsura dies. Johnny dies. Old Tommy dies. Thank you to everyone who showed up for it. Sorry it was such a downer.
I was crying in my beer, man. I felt like I was in a country music video. It was brutal.
But it was a good shot. It was good. It was good. It was some good music. You know, I said, you know, let's spread music and joy on my tweet before the I got some really bad DMs.
I think didn't I?
Like, God, you know, it's bad enough I got to be quarantined, and you know.
I think I tweeted something like, let's, you know, it'll take our minds off stuff for a little while.
Oh yeah, it took our minds off stuff, all right. Yeah.
Oh,
my mom's gonna be 90 years old, and this shit won't kill her either.
Oh my
God. That bitch just won't die.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. So, what's been going on? Is there before we get to the madness of March Tag Team Tournament first round, and also we have on tap today we have our top 5 favorite Godzilla movies. Anything happened this week y'all want to talk about in wrestling or
what the hell is going on in wrestling? People are dropping like flies. Nobody wants to wrestle in WrestleMania. As a matter of fact, nobody wants to participate in the thing at all. Everyone in that company thinks the event should have been canceled except for one person, Vince McMahon. Hence, we're going forward with the show. And people are dropping like flies. Now there's no Roman Reigns. There's no Oscar. There's no Miz. Who's next?
Rey Mysterio is out.
Rey Mysterio is out. So is Cesaro.
Isn't Ray like quarantined?
Yep. Andrade is out. Yep.
Yeah, because I think he's in California, so they got a stay-at-home order too.
Yeah.
Dana Brooke is out. A lot of people are out.
We talked about this a bit last week, but I think we've come to the thing where I think all wrestling has to stop for a while.
I think so too.
It all needs to just stop for a while, and it's not because we don't love wrestling or anything like that. It's just not safe right now. It's just not safe.
It's not safe, and I had tears in my eyes last night. I don't know if it's from watching SmackDown or from listening to Pedro's songs. But it was just, they looked like they were just going through the motions on TV. It didn't look legit. It just looked like, they were filming something for a video game use. It just didn't look inspiring to me.
I watched like 30 minutes of AEW on Wednesday. I watched like the first 30 minutes, and it was driving me up the fucking wall because they had like Cody Rhodes was doing commentary with Tony Schiavone, but Cody Rhodes wrestled in the first match against Jimmy Havoc, and like Jimmy Havoc's a terrible wrestler.
Havoc sucks.
He's a terrible wrestler, and so these two just had like no chemistry, and it was a real boring match. And I mean, Kenny Omega was doing commentary with Tony Schiavone, and it was just real cringy, and like I thought that was bad. And then they get to another match, and it's like Cody doing commentary with Tony Schiavone now, and it's like even worse. Cody was like just tripping over every word he was trying to say, like he was just tripping on his words and all this junk, and he was super nervous and just like like talking faster and then throwing out weird things like talking about the WWE having foam for guard railing and that they have bike rail and all this kind of weird stuff, and I just couldn't take it. I had to turn it off, and I put on a Godzilla movie because I just couldn't take it anymore. I had to have something good.
I put on a Godzilla movie the other night too.
Hey, me too.
I rewatched one of my least favorite Godzilla movies because I just don't like it. But I said, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot again because I love every Godzilla movie, with the exception of Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. I just can't.
Mechagodzilla, yeah.
Yeah, I just can't.
Yeah, that was pretty terrible.
So somebody give me a fucking fly swatter so I can swat the mosquito out the way, and that fucking cheesy special effects. It's just not good. Horrible.
Do any of y'all have the toy of the mosquito?
No, thank God.
I have it. It's really nice, actually. The toy is really nice.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it looks good.
Of course it is.
It's probably an actual petrified mosquito.
Yeah, it probably looks better. Your toy probably looks better than what actually was on screen, so that's good.
When that movie came out, they put it out in this thing with the Godzilla. It came with Godzilla, Mechagodzilla, and like kind of the small larva versions of Mechagodzilla or whatever, the smaller versions of it. So it came with all that stuff in this one thing from like a Bandai or whoever put out those toys, those soft vinyl ones.
It's just crap. Yeah, but everything else I love.
So should we start off with some Godzilla?
Oh, yeah.
We might as well if we started, right?
Oh yeah, I guess we. Yeah.
It's a good segue.
Yeah, it's a good segue. Just flowed right into it. All right. So actually, Heather, since you're our guest and you are the Kaiju Queen, please go first and school us on all things Kaiju.
Okay. Well, I have an honorable mention because I really couldn't decide. And my honorable mention is Final Wars.
Oh, I love that movie.
Because it's such a hot mess. I mean, it's just so over the top and ridiculous. You can't pass it up.
Everyone, power up the weapons and kill Godzilla. I'm done fried.
That was good, Zeus. I like that.
But my number 5 movie, because this is American Top 40 with our long distance dedications, my number 5 is DMK. I guess because it's the first Godzilla movie after a long span where people die. Like the girl in the hospital, she's like, "Oh, Godzilla passed me. Whoo! Oh, you forgot the tail." and it just had such a weird production history because they got Kaneko in to do it because, oh my God, Gamera was so awesome. And he's a very serious man. I met him last year at G-Fest, very artourish. And it's just a weird production history because we swapped out Varen and Anguirus for Mothra and Ghidorah. So here's Ghidorah being a good guy. It's just weird. So that's my number 5. Number 4 is Ghidorah, the 3-headed monster.
Nice.
It's probably Sekizawa's best script. Everybody's got good roles. Everything's well acted. It's spy action, shooting Ghidorahs, killing everybody. Doofy Rodan.
I love the human story and with the alien deal and all that, possessing that girl and then the political the spy stuff going on, and the that stuff is so like engrossing on its own in that movie. And the way that that stuff climaxes with what's going on in the Kaiju fight on that cliffside or whatever, so it just works so well, like just as a movie.
Yeah, it's probably Sekizawa's strongest script out of all the movies he wrote. So I memean, it's just a good movie. My number 3 is Shin Godzilla.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
It is just so bleak and depressing. Everybody's well acted. It's well scored. It was a
great score.
It was a perfect answer to 2014 Godzilla. And how I felt 2014 Godzilla was dark, but not like Shin Godzilla. It's just bleak. We're scrambling, and it's kind of really topical right now, I think, Shin Godzilla is. If you give it a watch and see how we're scrambling to come up with solutions to try to get rid of this problem.
Very good point.
I totally agree. Good point, Heather.
Number 2, Gojira, of course, because this is where it all started. We had to scramble to fill our blockbuster slot for the year because I believe it was Thailand said, "Oh yeah, you guys aren't coming in. We're going to deny you a bunch of visas for all your production. So we're not letting anybody in." So this was the answer. And it too is very dark and bleak, and people die. People die. There's the part where the mom's like, "Hey, we're going to go see Daddy soon."
Yes. Oh God.
Like, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Jesus. And my number 1 is Mothra versus Godzilla.
But of course,
for very personal, obvious reasons.
From 1964.
Of course.
Yes.
It's another Sekizawa script. Sekizawa is Mothra's dad. So, I mean, and to me, Mothra is my hope. People could say, "Oh, I go to wrestling shows and I cry, watch wrestling and I cry." Well, I cry over a giant moth.
It's all good, Kaiju Queen. It's all good.
I cry over a giant moth.
I do. I admit.
Hey, there are people that cry over. There are people that cry over wrestlers. There are people that cry over fruit. So why not, right?
Sometimes we cry over little concerts that people perform on YouTube.
Hey. Hey, real fast, quick shout out to YYH in the chat room.
Double Y, double H, what's going on?
You know, as we get older, you can get emotional about all kind of things, especially the
Oh, yeah.
more
like
the
when
more
Colonel
life
Henry
experiences.
Blake died on MASH.
Say what?
Like when Colonel Henry Blake
Zeus.
died on
Yeah,
MASH.
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, it's just another well-written Sekizawa formula script. I mean, it's well acted. We got all our familiar faces in it. You know, you also get to, Kenji Sahara plays against type really well.
That's one of the top films of the Showa series to begin with. Because that's a whole. I mean, that's a great movie to begin with. So it's one of the top films of the Showa era.
Yeah, and Henry Saperstein, when he was doing the American version for AIP, he actually, in the American version, the Navy comes and helps, and that's actual Tsuburaya special effects, and the only time it's ever happened in a Godzilla movie for an American edition. So
The things look at this.
I know. I read a lot.
No, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's what we want.
Yes.
We all need the Kaiju Queen knowledge over here,
That's right.
So I don't know. And I just want to say I wish Akira Takarada was my Japanese grandpa. The man is the man is
I think he would cry. I think he would have cried during Pedro's concert too.
So that's my list.
Oh my god.
That's a good list, huh? The good list. I'm digging it.
James, what
yes.
Let's go. Why don't you go next? What's your list?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna give my honorable mentions first. Just where Heather did it. Okay, actually, I'm not gonna say go zero because it's a given. That's just automatic, so that goes up the table. He's my honorable mentions: Godzilla versus the Smog Monster, only because as the greatest theme song in history, "Save the Earth."
Save the Earth.
Save the Earth, save the Earth, save the Earth. That is awesome. Okay, and I have to go with GMK as one of my honorable mentions, only because King Ghidorah is a face and Godzilla's the heel. That's awesome right there. I mean, that's awesome. All right, so here are my top five. Coming in at number 5, it's the last movie for the Millennium period. It's Final Wars. I love Don Fry. He even has his own set of mutants, so the hell with the X-Men. We got the Kaiju Men, And it's just it's so over. It's actually so over the top, just like you mentioned, Heather. It's over the top fun, and doesn't take itself too seriously.
I have a drill on the front of my submarine.
Yeah, exactly. And Godzilla just kicks everybody's ass. It's just awesome. It's awesome.
Atragon.
Yeah, man, it's just great stuff. The fight scenes are great, man. The kaiju battles are great. Everything works for me.
They definitely gave everyone like tons of fight scenes. Like
it's awesome.
You got tons of it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and now coming in at number 4 is Shin Godzilla. I know this may sound weird, but I think it's the most realistic out of all kaiju films. Only because you have a sea creature coming out of the water is actually now trying to adapt this on over on land. So as your lungs are forcing off the water, and the gills are leaving, the lungs are forming. He's starting to form arms now because it's needed on land, and legs. So it's different, and I was thinking about the solution. It's well acted and very bleak, like Heather mentioned. And plus, not for nothing, but Shin Godzilla's design is badass.
Yes.
And he looks menacing, and he's huge. And the weaponry that his breath is fucking awesome. I would just shoot shit down. It's awesome. And then coming in at number 3, part of the Showa era, is Destroy All Monsters. Only because it's Destroy All Monsters. Every monster's in there. Awesome. I mean, that's just total fun. Now, my number 2 is type of a cheat. It's because I think this movie is one of the most crappiest Godzilla movies ever made. It's shitty. It's done lazy. It's done with tons of stock footage, and the Godzilla suit sucks balls. But it is a fun movie, and you know what? He does a drop kick in it. So it's Godzilla versus Megalon. It's such a bad movie that it's good. I mean, and not for nothing, it's got Jet Jaguar in it. And come on, I haven't seen a ripoff of a character since the Renegade ripped off Ultimate Warrior.
Oh,
Okay.
Speaking of in Destroy All Monsters, Baragon is hardly in it because Subaraya had chopped up the suit so much for Ultraman.
Look at that! Look at how that's what we need. Knowledge being dropped.
Yeah.
Thank you, Heather. I love Godzilla versus Megalon. It's stupid. Like a giant roach comes up from underneath the water, from the Ceetopians. Really, the Ceetopians. It's just it's so stupid and it's so lazily put together that I actually like. I think it's fun. And actually, my number one, actually also from the Showa era, is Invasion of Astro Monster, aka Monster Zero. I love that Glenn and Fuji go to Planet X, and they leave Godzilla and Rodan there, and here comes King Ghidorah back to Earth, and they take over. And they're like, "Oh no! All the monsters are under the aliens' control." And then they break the control, and then Godzilla and Rodan just kick ass. I mean, it's a great movie, man. It's a great movie to watch. I personally like that one. It's awesome.
Wow.
Awesome
James,
stuff.
I have to tell you, I told Heather yesterday, I legit thought you were gonna have King of the Monsters on there, so I was like bracing myself.
I am leaving off all the legendary stuff. I am leaving off the legendary stuff only because I didn't want to debate you, Pedro. Hence why I left it off.
What about you, Zeus?
Okay, all right. Now, I am not. See, it's like my kids, and like if I had a bunch of retarded kids, I would still love them all. Okay, so I love a lot of bad Godzilla movies. As well as some of the good ones. Like the original Godzilla, that's probably my honorable mention. Even though it was so great and groundbreaking, as it was. But probably coming in at number 5 was the one I just watched last night was Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. Even though it's terrible, and the little baby Ghidorahs that form Ghidorah.
Oh yeah, the Dorats.
Yeah.
And it's like, is that one guy that's in one of the aliens? Is he not the guy in like Red Dwarf?
Oh, I think so. He's the android.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's like just got that kind of funniness to me. Now one that I've always loved watching too was Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
That's a good movie.
Which one?
The first one, 1974.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, from the Showa era, yeah.
Yeah, and I watched that one a lot when I was a kid. I remember seeing that one on TV many times.
King Caesar is awesome, and
yeah,
and his theme song is the King Caesar theme song is awesome.
And so another, let's see, so that was what's that number?
That's number 4, right?
Okay, so yeah, so number 3, I would have to say, would be Final Wars. I've gotten to actually speak to Don Fry, and so I he's got a special place in my heart. So sorry to Bean, but no Biolante in this list. But Shin Godzilla definitely would be the next one for me, number 2, and probably my favorite is Godzilla versus Destroya, even though it's not great.
Nice.
But I loved it, and just the whole just how fucking beastly and amazing Destroyer was, and then everything that happened with Godzilla was just the meltdown and everything that that kind of was the set the precedent for a lot of things, including like Shin Godzilla, I thought. But
no, it's nice, Zeus. I like it.
Yeah.
I want to say something going back to 1974 Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
I feel that movie has one of the best scores that was not done by Ifukube. It has one of the best musical scores that wasn't done by Ifukube for a Godzilla movie.
I also want to say there's a Godzilla movie that because it gets a lot of shit for being sucky, but I think it's not that bad. I actually like Godzilla versus Space Godzilla.
I do too.
I mean,
it's kind of like the Dragon Ball Z influence, I think.
Yeah,
nothing. If I remember correctly, I've only watched it like twice.
I do like Space Godzilla. I mean, it's not the best, but it's entertaining. That, and actually, I like Godzilla vs. Biolante. It's not a bad flick. It's good.
Yeah.
The design for Space Godzilla is awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
The crystals coming out of all of his.
Yeah.
And the suit for Godzilla himself is really awesome. They basically reused it in the next movie. Just they changed it up with the fire stuff. But
now Godzilla, the how do you say Kiryu? Yeah. In Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, that suit is freaking sweet, man.
Mm-hmm.
Pedro, it's your turn for your top 5 and honorable mentions.
Well, for honorable mentions, let me just say, when it comes to Godzilla, specifically the Japanese-made Godzilla movies, I love them all. I mean, let's just get this out of the way. I love them all. The Japanese-made Godzilla movies.
And you hate King of the Monsters. Yeah, we get it.
The U.S.-made ones are not. They're not, to me, they're not like the real Godzilla movies. So for me, it's like I only consider the Japanese ones. So for honorable mention, for my number 5 and this movie, I was going back and forth on a lot because I think I like both of them somewhat the same. But this movie, I feel, has a little bit of an unsatisfying conclusion to the monster fight at the end. But so my honorable mention will be Godzilla versus Destroyer.
Okay.
Because I mean, I love it. It was one of the first bootleg tapes I got of a Godzilla movie. And did any of y'all get the bootleg tape back in the day?
I don't think I did of Godzilla's, no, because they were just kind of prolific on TV, and if I think we had some import stores that you could get them from.
I had the shitty US tapes. I had the shitty US tapes with the bad dubs.
Well, this is like what, 96, 97, somewhere in there. So like 90, like the movie came out at the end of 95, but like when I got this tape, it's like 96, 97.
Yeah.
So it was like at a comic book store or whatever. So
I got the original Japanese version of GMK. So that's good, but like every other tape I have, it's like the shitty US ones and bad dubs.
Well, you might remember for a while you could not get the Heisei era movies out.
Yeah.
For
we do have Zilla to thank for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole abomination in itself.
Yeah. So, but like I had all the movies on the Heisei movies on bootlegs, right? And so I just have real fond memories of that movie because of like when you start the tape, they had a number of trailers before the movie starts, and all the trailers were like Godzilla dies, and it's just clips of the movie and everything. There was always that tagline, Godzilla dies, and it was like, oh, but yeah, great score to that movie. I love the suit. The first Japanese soft vinyl Godzilla I got is from that movie, and it's amazing. And I was all like, oh. But so yeah, that's my honorable mention, Godzilla vs. Destroyer. Number 5 is the movie that I was going back and forth on. It's another Heisei movie, and it's Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla from '93. I love the movie.
Yeah,
the whole thing with the Junior and him and Rodan being like brother siblings, in a way, and and everything, I love the conclusion to that thing. They kill Godzilla, and then Rodan flies over and gives his life force. And when Godzilla comes up revived, suddenly his fire is like red. And like his fire is never red before this point in a Godzilla movie that I can recall. His fire is always blue or white, and now suddenly red, and it's like, oh. And he just, blows it to pieces and stuff. Yeah, I really, that's like probably my favorite moment in a Godzilla movie is that moment. I'm a big fan of that one. Number 4 is the Terror of Mechagodzilla from 1975. I really love this movie. The story with Katsura, the music, like the score. I know I probably say this a lot. The score was very good in this movie. Godzilla fighting 2 enemies by himself, basically. I just loved it, and of course, it inspired the song. So, and then number 3 is Godzilla versus Mothra from 1964. Amazing movie, amazing. It's in my opinion, the outside of the original, it's the best of the older films, the Showa.
Yeah.
It just works so well as a movie, like on its own. Every element of it. It's like a movie that I've shown to Stephanie, and like she, enjoyed, which is not a guarantee with a Godzilla movie, right? That someone who's not into it will enjoy. But that is
it's funny you said that, Pedro. Yeah, it's funny you said that. There's people who like because you either have to like Godzilla movies or hate Godzilla movies, because there really isn't no in between. You notice that?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no. Yeah, so that is my number 3. My number 2 is Shin Godzilla. Love Shin Godzilla. Love it.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Seeing it in the theaters in 2016, seeing a Japanese Godzilla film in Japanese with subtitles in a theater was like this huge emotional moment for me for whatever reason, because I'm a nerd or whatever. And do
you have the Blu-ray, Pedro?
Yes, I do have the Blu-ray.
Did you watch the stuff that's afterwards with the 3 guys in the table?
Yes.
That was interesting stuff, how they talk about like being in the theaters and the social commentary left and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff.
Y'all have already brought up the politics aspect and how it, there's a lot of politics and stuff, a lot of social commentary in it involved with politics in Japan and so forth in that movie. A movie that I think people should go back and check out is the Godzilla from 1984. Because when I rewatched it recently, I noted that a lot of stuff in that movie is very similar, like is kind of reused in Shin Godzilla in terms of a lot of political, kind of things. And I never noticed that before rewatching it recently.
Yeah, in that case, that has to be Return of Godzilla and not Godzilla
Yeah.
1985.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Good observation. Good observation.
And so my number one is the original. It's Gojira from 1954. It's the only Godzilla movie, in my opinion, that is like a legit kind of work of art film. It's like a true cinematic masterpiece, and it's it's the atomic bomb on the Japanese people, and then it's like if they it's like almost posing the question: if we had the thing, would we have used it? Of course, we know the answer to that is, of course, any country would have used it, but just the way it explores all that stuff is amazing. I mean, just scenes after Godzilla destroys Tokyo, where the choir is singing, and you're seeing all the hundreds and hundreds of people dying and all this stuff in those makeshift hospitals. It's so it's such a strong thing, and I just love that movie. Anytime it comes on, I can watch it again and again. So that's my number one, is the original Godzilla movie.
Cool. That's kind of good. I like that. That's an awesome, good list, man. Awesome, good stuff.
Yeah.
Any favorite moments from Godzilla movies, Heather? Are there any moments that stick out for you?
Always the drop kick in versus Megalon.
Yeah, that's awesome, right?
Because it's ridiculous.
The moment, one of the most impressing moments on me since I was a kid was the moment that Mechagodzilla finally revealed itself.
Oh yeah.
That to me was so incredible, because it was almost like this oh shit moment, because it's like, not only it's like he was like your worst fear. It's like, how the hell is is Godzilla going to beat this thing? It's got missiles coming out of its fingers. So
and
that's
also
awesome.
in that movie again, the Mechagodzilla as Godzilla breaking Angara's jaw.
Yeah.
Still guts me.
Yeah, and the soap foam, yeah, like all the soap coming out of like his mouth. I think the first time I heard Ghidorah, like the noise that it makes, like it scared the shit out of me. Like, what the hell is that? That noise, high pitched noise. I was like, is that a scream? I was like, what is that? That's ooh, that's spooky. Because like you're used to roars and roar, rah, rah, and then you hear me. I'm like, oh, I'm out. Get the hell out of here. And it's awesome.
And as always, when we talk about Godzilla, I definitely want to always give a shout out to Art Adams, who I think personally the huge reason that Godzilla was kind of able to stay in geek culture during some of the times where it was hard to see Godzilla movies here in the West, and because he did so much great pinup art and great and comic stories.
His work is great.
Yeah, I mean he you can tell he's got a great love for Godzilla, and he's definitely a guy that helped keep it alive here in the States.
Most definitely. All right. I got a question for you guys. What is your worst Godzilla movie? The one that you can't stand watching, that just absolutely sucks.
Tokyo SOS.
Must return Godzilla's bones to the sea.
I was waiting for somebody to bring that up, Heather. Thank you. Return his bones to the sea. I was like, wow, really? I was waiting for somebody to bring that up.
Is the same as the one before it. I mean, it's just the same movie.
Yeah.
How about Godzilla's Revenge?
no, I can't do Godzilla's Revenge. It's like, hey, the solution to your problem is to become a bully yourself.
Did anybody else like or hate the Ibera Horror of the Deep?
Oh my God, that was ridiculous.
I actually enjoyed that movie.
Giant lobster.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I like when he claps the claw at him like, I'm going to get some butter, MF.
That was supposed to be a King Kong versus Ibero movie, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few years ago, Stephanie got me that movie on Blu-ray. This was before that set that came out last year or whatever. And rewatching it like on Blu-ray, I appreciated it a lot more than I did before.
Mm. I can't stand Godzilla versus Megaguirus. It's just a piece of shit to me. The whole concept.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
Yeah, it is
because it's like to me it's like a Hanna-Barbera Godzilla.
Yeah.
It's like an episode of that because it's so fucking stupid.
Godzilla versus the Herculoids.
Hey, don't shit on the Herculoids, but
no. I love the Herculoids. Are you kidding me?
You can poop on Godzilla Hanna-Barbera all you want to.
No. Trust me, I love the Herculoids.
Godzuki looks better than Son of Godzilla. Because Son of Godzilla looks like a Pillsbury Doughboy with no hat on.
Okay, I didn't like Godzilla 2000. I thought it was...
I have a soft spot for that movie.
It takes so long to get into.
Yeah, it just stalls. Everything's just stalls.
It's like, Jesus Christ, how much driving are we going to do around the fucking country?
Well, that was the only Toho Godzilla movie I've seen in the theater. And my now husband took me to it to make up for 1998.
Oh, well, that right there, he deserves a star for that. Because the 1998 Godzilla, let me tell you something. That movie shouldn't even be called Godzilla. That movie should be called, I found a little lizard in my backyard and it grew up to look like this. This movie absolutely sucks.
That movie.
What was that Asylum movie Monster Island? What was that Asylum movie with Discount Jean Reno?
Oh, that was awesome.
Not the Monster Island thing again. My fault.
Movie. I thought that movie was going to be the Sharknado of kaiju flick. That movie's just fucking... That thing looked like it was made in somebody's backyard. It was
Atlantic Rim was better than that movie.
It was like, how, look at this thing coming to get me. Oh my God, I've seen better acting in porn. This is brutal.
Oh my God.
This is brutal.
I like Godzilla 2000 myself. I
thought it was too. It just sucked.
Yeah, I saw I saw bootlegs of it before I saw it in the
suit. I like the suit. From
that.
It is.
It was a definite upgrade. I was like, look at this guy. He looks diesel.
I think I've said on one of the other episodes we did, all of us together on Godzilla, that's my favorite suit. It is. It is my favorite. The
Millennium suit is really cool.
Now, I actually like the face on Godzilla GMK because he looks straight up evil.
Yeah, he's got no pupils. Yeah. He's got the wide eyes. It's creepy.
That's a great, and that's another one. If you have the soft vinyl from Japan, it's like the big one that when it came out is so nice. Is so nice. It's a good one to have.
The moment where of course, as Pedro says, it's not a real Godzilla movie, but the moment in King of the Monsters when Godzilla finally gets to really unload, and it's that womp womp womp.
Yeah, that's hot. That's hot. Yeah.
But you know what? But that is taken from Space Battleship Yamato from Star Blazer.
Yeah.
That's
good call. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what that's from. I'm like, because see, I love the Skreonk. I love Godzilla's, yell.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what should, it should be that, and then the then the flaming stuff. But when they make it seem like his whole body is resonating this sound, I just didn't. I was like, it's really cool, but I was like, it really doesn't fit to me.
Look, I like King of the Monsters. I don't give a shit what Pedro says. Okay, I think it is a good popcorn movie.
I don't like the.
There's a little sound effect. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Let me say in defense of King of the Monsters, in the Toho movies that we introduce Ghidorah as being destroyer of worlds and civilization, and then sometimes Ghidorah just seems pretty doofy, like in Gigan and stuff, and you're like, whatever. But King of the Monsters Ghidorah made me believe that.
Mm.
Oh
yeah. Oh yeah. I like King of the Monsters, Pedro. So eat one, okay?
Now another thing like about Ghidorah in King of the Monsters was it's like he's bothering to eat people. I'm like, is he an anteater? I'm like, when he breaks out of the ice, I'm like going, no, he's gonna go find some real food, like a whale or something. But I was like, he's not gonna give a shit about shooting gravity beams at these nothing people that pose absolutely zero threat. I mean, we're less than an ant to this guy.
Yeah, you're right.
Our small arms at this giant 3-headed golden space dragon. Yay!
Right. Yeah.
The only issue I had with Ghidorah was I didn't like the roar because I wanted something more.
Well,
because if you're supposed to be from space, I wanted more. Yeah.
If you listen real close, the original Ghidorah sound is buried in his roar.
No.
Really? I got to go back and check that out.
Yeah. Yeah, like when he first kind of stomps into Fenway like he's going to shoot a gravity beam at 11. It's in there.
At 11?
Oh, I love that moment when he stops into February, though. Like as a Yankee fan, I like that moment, by the way. I just thought I'd say that.
That movie, visually very impressive at points.
Yeah.
But it's a piece of shit. So eat that one, James. It's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
you
go.
can eat
Sounds
up
good.
all that shit you want in a bowl.
Pedro, it's not a bad movie. It's a good popcorn movie, brother.
No,
You gotta watch
it's a
it.
piece of
popcorn
shit.
movie.
It's a piece of shit.
It's not, okay. No, that's cool. That's cool.
And listen, if anybody needs to hear a great review of King of the Monsters, you got to listen to Robo Bean on YouTube. The Robo Bean, have you heard that?
No,
Heather?
no, I haven't heard that.
No.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Bean,
It's
but
Bean.
he's
Robo
a
Bean.
Robo Bean animated, voice synthesized, talking about how bad King of the Monsters was, and he's right. All the points that he brings up are right, and it's awesome. So
I'll check it.
I'll post that link in our little group later.
Yes.
Are we ready? Are we ready for some March Madness?
Yes.
Oh, yes, sir. Let's get into it.
Okay, so first of all, what I have to say is,
Here we go.
seeding a motherfucking 64 anything tournament is a motherfucker. Okay? Because it's not just 32 and 32, it's 1 to 64. Okay, so if you are truly, because you can't just do 2, because that means you got to rank everybody again and split them, which doesn't make any sense. Okay, so the way you have to do it, and this is the way the NCAA, they just do it all with smaller numbers because people are stupid. Okay. That's the truth of it. The people can't digest big goddamn numbers, and anything over 32 they can't digest. So in other words, if the Road Warriors are the number 1 seed, which they were, and they faced the number 64 seed, okay, that means number 2 faces number 63. That means number 3 faces number 62, and number 4, the number 4 seed faces the number 61 team, and that means everything's got to match up in there. And on top of that, that also means that the region with the number 1 seed does not face the winner of the number 2 seed region. They face the winner of the number 4 seed region, and the number 2 and the number 3 seed regions have to meet.
They have to be on opposite sides of the bracket. Yeah.
Exactly.
Zeus.
Yeah.
I thought you did a fabulous job in seeding, brother. There's a lot of people on Twitter talking shit. They can kiss our ass.
Pain I experienced doing that.
Zeus,
I thought it was excellent.
I don't have a problem with anything you did, because seeding stuff is super difficult, because at some point you just start sticking people in places because they just have to go places. But
that happened a couple of times.
But I just want to say I don't think from what I saw, I don't think the complaints were about the format of how it's broken up. The complaint was about like where specific teams are up and down in the seeding, because you know how people are. Everyone has their favorites, and they're like, you listed my favorite low.
Yeah, I know.
But that's hard.
I did research on all these teams, and there's a few teams, I feel bad about now that I didn't think about later, because I was literally looking at over 200 teams.
Yeah.
And
that's mentally draining, man.
Yeah. And so, apologies to Chavo Classic and Mondo. I wished I'd have put you guys in here. I wished I'd have put in like Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee. I wished I'd have put them in there. But be that as it may, these are all a lot of highly decorated teams. That had huge impact in the last 40 years. And so that's how it goes. And then we divided the 4 regions up by 4 of the greatest tag team managers that are no longer with us. And thank you for the help with that, James. We did, I think, a good job coming up with the with the names for our 4 regions. And we've been getting a good response, I think, about 100 votes per matchup. And
those are some really tough matchups, man. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I winged it.
You winged it, Heather?
I winged it a whole lot.
Yeah, and it's okay, because not everybody knows everybody.
Right.
But if you don't vote for Ricky Steamboat, you're the cops.
Right. Right. It's just, it's like, if you don't vote for Eddie Guerrero and Art Barr, you're the cops.
You're the cops.
Oh, okay. I think, I'll own it. Yes, I voted British Bulldog. Shit on me. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Right. But we had, we had a few upsets in the first round. Not many. The higher seeds have taken it almost every time.
Some close battles too.
Yeah, and some great matchups coming in the second round. The Dudley boys are going to face Edge and Christian, and that's just
classic.
Yeah. Sadly, and Helico and Jack Evans went down hard to Kevin Nash and Scott Hall.
I actually voted for Angelico and Jack because I think Nash Hall is so overrated.
Did anyone here vote for the Outsiders? I can't imagine it.
I can't vote, so.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Heather, who'd you vote for?
Was that the Eddie Guerrero one?
No, this is Angelico and Jack Evans.
Oh, I voted for Angelico and Jack Evans.
Yeah, so did I. I mean, we weren't the problems for the hybrid too.
Right, and that's another thing too, is what we're seeing is some of the biggest names are carrying through. Like, I mean, the Samoan SWAT team almost pulled off an upset at the end of that. Right at the end, they tied it up with 10 minutes to go against Miyazawa and Kobashi.
Yeah.
And somebody voted late, in those last 10 minutes for Miyazawa and Kobashi. the High Flyers started out strong against the Young Bucks too, and then they came back and
how the hell did the Young Bucks just like take over that? I don't understand that.
It's just more there's just more wrestling fans that just know the Young Bucks, and people just don't even know the Greg Gagne, Jim Brunzell. I mean, they were amazing. And one of their 2 tag team reigns in the AWA was over 2 years, which is just incredible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but I mean, it's just the AWA had a somewhat limited audience. Like,
well, especially with the fans of today. I mean, we're 30 years removed from when it died.
Yeah.
So, Evil and Sonata weren't able to overcome Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly.
Angie was upset about that one.
Yeah, it was close until about the very end. It was still pretty respectable.
Undisputed Era, baby.
Yeah. Ricky Steamboat and Jay Youngblood rolled over Eminem.
The
Hart Foundation, they rolled over the Stud Stable, which is that was a good team. Robert Fuller and Jimmy Golden. In the Bobby Heenan region, the Midnight Express trashed the Gangstas. Doom really beat the Eliminators up pretty well. Barry Windham and Mike Rotundo beat Proud and Powerful. In the upset in this region was Undertaker and Kane, who weren't together awfully long and won like 3 tag team titles, but they destroyed the Briscoes, Jay and Mark.
They have more matches against each other than they did as a team.
Probably, yeah. Then Demolition beat the New Day, that was a cool matchup because the two of the longest reigning tag team reigns in WWFE history. The Freebirds, Michael P.S. Hayes and Jimmy Garvin. They trashed Ray Bucanero and Ultimo Guerrero.
Boo! Excuse me.
Boo. Cop.
But I mean, you hate to see it, but that DDT, that double DDT was probably what finished them off. The Fantastics beat the Revival. That was a tough. That's
something, man.
That was a
tough
matchup. Matchup. That was a close one. And the Rock and Roll Express destroyed PG-13.
Cock and balls.
Yeah. I mean, I had to put them at number 3 because they've been together.
Absolutely.
But it's not until these last couple of years where I've had to come around and rate them so high because they're still together winning titles in 2020.
Zeus, I can't stand the Rock and Roll Express, but they deserve to be number 2, actually.
No.
Okay?
But yeah.
Hold on. 2, actually. Okay? But I can't stand Lex Luger. And he doesn't belong in this at all. So it's not the base, because I can easily not like something, but if you're a legit team, then you're a legit team. And the Rock and Roll Express, Cock and Balls, are a legit team.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, Stan Hansen, Bruiser Brody, moving on to the Gary Hart region. Hansen and Brody beat Tejano and Silver King, sadly.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That one's a tough one for me. But
how come nobody gives love to Brody and Hansen, man? Come on, man. Those guys were awesome.
I love Hansen and Brody, but I mean, I also love Los Cowboys.
I do like Silver King, but I can't lie.
It's a bad draw for them,
Yeah.
It's a bad draw. Bad draw for one of my favorite tag teams of all time. Bad Company had to face Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows.
Did they lose? Like when I voted Bad Company were winning, they ended up losing?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, they came back. Carl Anderson, Doc Gallows came back. In another really competitive 30 versus 35, the Koloffs, Ivan and Nikita Koloff, beat Big Van Vader and Bam Bam Bigelow. which is crazy to me because I'm like, you know, I wouldn't have seen that happening, but
That's a tough matchup for me. It's because I love all four of those guys. I love Nikita Koloff. I think he's awesome. But how do you go against Vader, man?
I mean, Vader and Bigelow are just so massive.
Yeah.
I mean, at the time, you know, Ivan was you know, really out of his, you know, he was ending his prime, you know, probably in 1980. You know, so by the time that Nikita came along in 85, you know, it was a, you know, 84, 85, it was a, you know, he was kind of past that. Harlem Heat, the 10-time WCW World Tag Team Champions, destroyed Spike Dudley and Balls Mahoney.
I like Balls Mahoney.
Yeah. The Miracle Violence Connection, Steve Williams and Terry Gordy beat the New Age Outlaws pretty handily.
No Billy Gunn, yes.
No more Billy Gunn. The Funk Brothers, Terry and Dory Funk Jr. defeated the Rockers pretty soundly. The Lucha Brothers beat the Viking Raiders.
Oh, good.
And,
They were tied when I voted.
Yeah, same here, Heather. So I was concerned for them. I was like, oh,
yeah,
shit.
yeah. The Lucha Brothers pulled it out at the end, and Rick and Scott Steiner destroyed the Public Enemy. And I just realized another really good team that I left off this list, and I can't believe I did. But shit happens. I left the Nasty Boys off.
Oh, I didn't even think about them.
If you want my opinion, it's no great loss.
Well,
but
they
still,
have the belts in WCW and WWF.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
So,
and they're a legit team.
Yeah,
and I saw them as WCW Tag Team Champions.
Nice.
1 year. So today we have the final region going on right now, and you know we're less than 6 hours left. I don't see this stuff happening. The many changes in this. The Road Warriors are rolling over the Sheep Herders, who got the play-in by beating Beer Money. The Usos are just ahead of the Gorillas of Destiny.
That's a tough matchup, man.
Yeah, that's another tough one.
Like, who do you go for? I mean, because they're both like really good teams, and one's becoming a like a WWE tag team legacy because it's happening before our eyes.
And the other's becoming a New Japan, legacy team.
Yeah. I mean, like God is like ridiculous, man. They're awesome.
Yeah. Then we have the two other brother teams, or another brother team. Jack and Jerry Briscoe. Of course, Jack Briscoe, former NWA World Heavyweight Champion. As a team, they won a shit ton of tag team titles all over the NWA territories. Georgia, Florida, every damn where. And they are on their way to beating Hiroshi Hase and Kensuke Sasaki. They're way ahead in that. Another one of James's favorites, Sting and Lex Luger.
Oh, brutal.
Crockett Cup winners and WCW World Tag Team Champions are soundly ahead of Chris Adams and Hernandez.
That is absolutely disgusting. That should never happen. Okay, Chris Adams and Gino Hernandez were the shit. They were awesome, and Lex Luger absolutely blows.
Boo!
The success is there. It's on paper. It's history. So
that's because Sting was telling people, "Oh, be nice to Luger."
So the next team was very hard to keep out of the top four. The number 5 seed, Matt and Jeff Hardy, because they've had 20 years or so as a team. Most of the last 20 years as a team. 8-time WWF, WWE Tag Team Champions, TNA Tag Team Champions, Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, PWI Match of the Year, Tag Team of the Year, and they're up against Kerry and Kevin Von Erich, and they are losing. The Von Erichs are ahead.
Wow.
For real?
Yeah.
Yes, and they've been ahead almost this entire time, which is very shocking. I thought the Hardys were going to roll all over the Von Erichs, but
look at that, man.
And then
that's nostalgia doing it for you right there.
Yep. The British Bullfrogs are ahead
Bulldogs
of Eddie Guerrero and Art Barr, sadly.
Boo.
Yeah, boo.
Yeah.
The British Bulldogs, they really, a lot of people remember them, for their ability and their matches and things. But, the amount of time they weren't a tag team for all that long, and they really didn't win that much. They won like the All Japan, All Asian tag titles once, and just one time WWF tag team champions. So I couldn't rank them any higher than I did at 29, because they had a lasting effect and they were really good, but I think they were underachievers.
Well, I think you said it best, Zeus, because they were their own worst enemy.
Yeah. Then the next matchup, we have Hiroshi Tenzan and Satoshi Kojima, collectively known as Tenkozy. Bread Club. Six-time IWGP Tag Team Champions. They beat the Dudleys for the NWA World Tag Team Champions. They were 2-time G1 Tag Team League winners, 2-time All Japan Tag League winners, and they won the G1 Tag League and the All Japan World Strongest Determination League in the same damn year, which has never been done by any team. And sadly, they are looking up at the Keiji Muto and Masahiro Chono, who are off and on tag team partners, and of course best of friends. So the name power is boosting Tenkozy. Muto and Chono over Tenkozy at the current time. Then the number 9 seed, Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson from the Four Horsemen, are just destroying Jumbo Tsuruta and Junichiro Tenryu.
Yeah, they're getting no love. They're getting no love.
And I probably ranked them too low. I think Jumbo and Tenryu probably got a bad draw or bad ranking by me. But that's just, once again, you're doing it, we don't get paid to do this, but
hey,
we love doing
every
it.
tournament has its critics. Everybody's going to say, how come this team wasn't in? How come this team isn't ranked higher? How come this team isn't ranked lower? How dare you do this? How dare you do that? So don't worry about that. I think you did a fabulous job. Good job, buddy.
It's hard. It's hard to do this kind of stuff. It's hard.
Yes, it is.
It's hard to pick out the teams that are going to go in because there's so many tag teams. Like you're mentioning Jumbo and Tenryu, and it's like Jumbo also had a famous tag team pairing with Giant Baba when he's younger.
Right.
Then,
and that was a lot of that was in the 70s. So that
right. And then after the thing with Tenryu, he has a famous pairing with Akira Taue for a while. Then go on.
Oh, I was going to say, Jumbo and Yoshiaki Yatsu.
Yes. And then they're like with Tenryu, he had a team with Hansen for a good spell.
Yep.
There's just like, all these people, like, especially in Japan, like, they have so many famous pairings. It's difficult to knuckle this stuff down. It's
no showing, people complaining about that.
Oh, well, that's the thing is you got to pick. You try to pick the best pairing. Would Jim Brunzell have fared better with
As the Killer Bees?
You know, as part of the Killer Bees in this tournament? Probably not, and because I would have had to rank, you know, the Killer Bees near the bottom.
Oh,
Whoa, what happened?
I don't know.
I
You're right there.
my dog.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
But you know, I mean, the Killer Bees they never won the WWF tag team titles.
Nope.
You know, they were a fun tag team. They looked great together, and you know, but
They had good matches with the Hart Foundation, but the Hart Foundation had good matches with like everyone in that time period. So
yeah. And that was another thing too, is you know, putting the Hart Foundation at 16 was tough. You know, that was a tough one for me. You know, they were you know,
Yeah, because people could say that Hart Foundation could be top 10 easily. You know, so there's always going to be somebody, you know.
Yeah.
You know, there's always somebody, you know.
But I mean, you know, they were, you know, they were two-time WWF tag team champions.
Yep.
All right, can you believe that? Can you believe they were only tag team champions twice?
Yeah. Wow, look at that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can because Brett was probably somewhat always destined to go single at some point. So
Right, but I mean, but it's still, I mean, like in this day and age, you know, it's like, you know, we forget how meaningful one time winning it was back, especially in the 70s and 80s. I mean, if you won it, you know, if you won a world tag team title, especially here in North America, you know, that said a lot. You know,
yeah, it's different too, Zeus. You know, and you know, this is what a lot of people have to remember. You know, almost all the wrestling shows on TV today are live, so you got to keep the crowd interested. So there are many title switches, and there are a lot more house shows now as there were back then. You know, it used to tape shows 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks in advance back then. So if you held on to the strap for about 6 months, it was good. 8 months, it was good because it helps you write and book effective television. Yeah, but if you constantly changing titles, then you know, like it's hard to build up storylines. Unlike now, where like everybody has short attention spans, and like everything's going for a shock value. Oh my God, there was a title switch. So like everybody wants you to watch. You know, he's 10-time champion. Well, yeah, because you know we want you to watch it. So it's a little bit different these days. You know, and you know, like a lot of people got to remember that. You know.
Oh, by the way, do you know the one title that the Killer Bees held?
I read it, but I can't remember.
It's so ridiculous. It's Herb Abrams UWF tag team.
Wow, that was brutal.
Yeah, that was they had that surfer, that really weird surfer dude. Who was that guy?
Herb Abrams UWF is like Sony's Godzilla. It doesn't belong.
It's definitely the left head of King Ghidorah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't belong.
Tigers. Isn't that on that King Tiger show now on Netflix?
Oh man, I want to see that. Everyone keeps talking about it.
Yeah, like
I keep passing it. I don't know if I should watch it.
Tell us about it, Heather.
I haven't watched it yet. I just saw everybody talking about they were having wrestling shows at this tiger place, and the one guy's like, "Yeah, there was like 3 people there where there were more tigers watching the show than people." So I don't know. That just seemed really wild. It seems like a really wild show. So I'm looking at it
Tracy Smothers wrestled a freaking bear.
Everyone's
wrestled a freaking bear. Have you ever seen that shit? God, it's scary looking.
Everyone is talking.
You want to talk about scary? I wrestled my ex-wife and I put her in the figure 4. That was scary, and she didn't tap. That's weird.
Oh my God! Hey, that reminds me real quick, James. Because Vicky was talking about her and Eddie putting moves on each other.
Yeah.
Y'all, any of y'all, did y'all watch Dark Side of the Ring, Benoit?
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
No.
You didn't watch it, Heather? Oh, it's a must-watch.
Well, if you want to see it, they have both parts now up on YouTube by Vice. Vice put up the second part. So yeah, you can
It's
see.
powerful.
I would the first part, the stuff about Eddie's death was really
Yeah, it's powerful.
really gut wrenching. I didn't find the rest of it so great myself personally, but
Well, I like the
I think
fact that
we know a lot of the story already from back in the day, but
oh yeah, I agree with you, Pedro. But I actually like the fact that it actually shown the light on his son and on Nancy's sister. Yeah, because these are two of the people who are affected the most.
yep.
And they got their light shone on them for a change because everybody talks about Benoit did this and Benoit did that, and you like all the wrestlers felt a certain way, but nobody spoke about his son.
Yeah. Hey,
Because he took a lot of shit.
Another good thing was all the footage they show of Nancy as woman and the fallen angel and all that. Like, I was like, they showed a lot of great clips of her. And that's good for getting, because she gets lost so much in the discussion.
I did like the insight from Nancy's sister, though. I mean, she gave a lot of insight, and even she said she loved Chris.
I thought her and Vicky were like Vicky and Chavo were the best talking heads in the documentary.
Yeah.
I was
I'm
not
looking forward to next
not
week's
happy with Jericho, but.
I like Jamie. It wasn't bad. He was just telling like it was. He didn't give a shit.
To me, him and JR were a little too the wrestling business in the second part.
Yeah.
But,
I understand what you mean by that. It's it's a little old school, good old boyish type thing.
Oh yeah, but next week, New Jack, James.
That's going to be interesting.
Life and Crimes of New Jack. That's what it's called.
Holy shit!
And all three of us seen him live, so we know we witnessed it.
The whole thing. I think a lot of people. I'm not trying to say like that I think New Jack is a great human being or anything, but I hope that this show is going to kind of help show people what his mindset is, because he's not a regular fucking suburban fucking dude.
Right.
No.
I mean, it's he's got 4 justifiable homicides. He's
and massive head trauma. So who the hell knows what goes through that brain of his?
Yeah, I mean, but even before he became a wrestler, I mean, he's been through a lot of shit. I mean, if there was a guy who probably had post-traumatic stress syndrome before he became a wrestler, it's probably him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that guy's been through a lot of shit.
Oh, Heather, I meant to ask you a question. It's a Godzilla-related question, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you really looking forward to Kong versus Godzilla? Just because I am.
I'm divided. I'm a little indifferent at this point.
Why is that?
I don't really have an answer.
Are you afraid it's going to be another King of Monsters?
I mean, I like Kingdom Monsters for what it was. Like you said, it's a fun popcorn movie. But, now that I'm a little removed from it, it wasn't a Godzilla movie.
It was Hollywood, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just pretty sure this is going to be more of the same.
I'm actually looking forward to it because I
Skull
think
Island was great, but I don't think you can get that again. I don't know.
We're all gonna watch it opening weekend, I'm sure.
Yeah. Because I think somebody in Hollywood has to realize and say, okay, we went the Hollywood route and it wasn't as big as we thought it would be. So how about if we tried another way? Well, I mean, I'm hoping if somebody says that and does it.
Well, Yashimoto Banno threw money at King of the Monsters, and remember he's the same guy who directed versus Hidra.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty sure with the money it did make that Toho wouldn't be willing to part with that cash. So
Right,
we'll see
right.
what happens.
Mhm. Yeah, good idea. Sorry to bring it back to Godzilla, but that just crossed my mind. I don't know why.
That's what it's all. I'm like I kind of I like some of Kong in Skull Island. There was some parts of that was good and interesting, and it kind of had, I think they kind of captured the time period that they were looking to set it in fairly well. But you watch too many Marvel movies, you're like, hey, it's Loki and Captain Marvel, and
It's technically a Marvel movie,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then we have to break out some old 1970s and early 80s Godzilla Marvel comics where they were fighting Shield.
Mm-hmm.
Godzilla was fighting Shield because they were, I think Godzilla came to Seattle or some shit like that, and
yeah, San Francisco, I think.
Yeah,
that sounds right. Yeah, and it with Dum Dum and all those guys.
Yes.
I think Spider-Man showed up at one point.
Well, Spider-Man, he never knows when to he doesn't know how to self-quarantine, so he's
he's defined at that home order.
He's always poking his nose in where it doesn't belong. So.
He's never met a feud he didn't like.
Yeah, he's Boris Johnson shaking hands with COVID-19 people, and then
oh my God.
Boris, now you've got coronavirus. What are we going to do?
I couldn't help it, James. It was just the weirdest thing to come out of this week. The dude started off the week boasting about shaking.
I know.
And then he gets it.
What is this guy doing? I mean, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? I'll tell you, two pieces of the pot. I'm saying, two pieces of the pot.
It's nothing political. It's just from a human point of view. Who makes that decision personally to do that?
A dick's a dick.
Heather,
good stuff.
I want to thank you so much for coming on the show again.
We want to thank you. We all want to thank you.
Yes, Heather, the Kaiju Queen.
Pedro,
thank you so much.
I apologize.
Thank you. You almost killed us all last night.
Are you saying you want me to close out the show with another?
Oh yeah, please.
Please. Yeah.
Let's flash images of dead bunnies and baby seals being clubbed to death, and
crying,
playing some damn Martina McBride or some depressing shit like that.
Butterflies falling out of the air.
Morrissey.
This one's called Junior Falls.
Oh,
Junior falls from the sky, destroyer, kill them all.
Heather, thank you so much for being on this show. I mean, we really appreciate
you again, guys.
And please, always stop by whenever you feel like it. And thank you for dropping some kaiju wisdom on all of us because we all need it. Thank you. and anything not to hear sad songs anymore, please.
So now. No more sad songs. We'll see everyone next week. Thanks YYH for joining us in the chat. Thanks everyone.
Double Y, double H.
And we'll see y'all next week. And adios.
That should sound like a wounded yak.
I can try to get my dog.